everybody. Thanks for coming out today to see one of our largest investments that we've made in recent history in our electric grid. The Currin Substation is basically the grand central station of the EWEB electric grid. It has power coming in from the Bonneville Power Administration and Pacific Power. It has power going out to serve the heart of our city, our downtown core, as well as critical infrastructure such as our Hayden Bridge water filtration plant, which supplies clean, safe drinking water to the entire community. So it's a very important piece of infrastructure for us. The power we provide is about 99% reliable. And in order to keep it that way, we have to invest in our infrastructure.
Currin is so big in this area because what we want to do is be able to have all the lines coming to this area. We talk north, south, east, west, serving customers. We want all of that to be able to come to Currin, and it can have many options to get where it needs to go. If we need to take something out for maintenance, customers won't know. If we have a catastrophic failure in certain portions of the yard, customers still won't know because they'll still have power. Whenever we're talking about controlling electricity, we want to make sure that we can get to a safe state. So for a breaker like this, it can trip open. If we want to close it, we need to make sure that breaker can then be tripped again to get to a safe state. And that's what the springs are for. So we are monitoring electricity in a substation. And we need to do that by safely transforming the 115,000 volts into something that we can actually manipulate a little bit more. To do that, we have these three structures. Those are called voltage transformers. They actually measure the electric voltage. The silver shrouds up at the top of that breaker, kind of donut looking things, is where we have current transformers. That allows us to measure electrical current. When we go inside, I can show you our protective relays that use that voltage and that current to make decisions. And they're doing that every electrical cycle. Every 16 milliseconds, the entire station is deciding whether it wants to stay as is or make a change, meaning either trip or close a breaker.
Some of the benefits of the newly rebuilt Currin Substation include improved resiliency and reliability, operational and maintenance flexibility, and increased capacity. For reliability and resiliency, this was built to modern seismic standards so that we can withstand an event such as the Cascadia subduction zone earthquake.
We talked a lot about seismic resiliency at this site. A lot of that you can't see because it's between 6 and 30 feet underground. But one thing you can see, an insulator, piece of equipment that's got little ridges on it, and then there's wire making a flexible connection to a disconnect switch. That little flexible connector is one of those seismic pieces. When an earthquake occurs, when Cascadia occurs, everything's going to shake. We can't stop that from happening, but what we can do is let things shake in their own way so they aren't fighting each other. Welcome to the Currin control house. So this building is essentially cut into 3 zones, kind of the same way as Currin is. So before I talked about how a transformer takes high voltage and changes it to medium voltage. And what we can do is we can bring the power in here, and then we can serve up to 6 what we call feeders, but main lines that go out to customers, go on pole tops. So that's where that part happens. Middle part of the control house here is where we have all of our control equipment. So these black racks are the substation communications. We got fiber optics and then communications to adjacent substations. And then over here, these gray panels are where we have all the controls for the breakers that we were looking at outside, the big circuit breakers. When I was talking about a protective relay making decisions every 16 milliseconds on whether the station's going to change or not, that's what these blue boxes are.
Resilience is as much about infrastructure, but it's also about the people. In my 4 years of working on the board, I've just been blown away by the commitment and the work ethic and the thoughtfulness of the folks at EWEB. And it's not only the folks in the office, it's the people who are out in the field day in and day out. So I just want to acknowledge the people that make up EWEB, because that's really what makes this all run, and is really what makes it as resilient as it is the forward thinking, the planning, and the constant taking care of the systems that we work on.